Om Shanti, 6th June 2024, Sakar Murli. Essence. Sweet children, the Father is the master of the garden. You gardeners have to bring very good, fragrant flowers to that master of the garden. Do not bring wilted flowers. Question. On which children does the Father's vision and whom and on whom does it not fall? Answer. The Father is pleased to see the flowers that give a good fragrance, and those who do the service of changing many thorns into flowers. The Father's vision falls on them. The Father's vision does not fall on those who have a dirty attitude and those whose eyes are deceitful. The Father says, children, become flowers and make many others into flowers, because only then will you be called clever gardener. The Father, the master of the garden, sits here and looks at his flowers, because at the centers there are flowers and gardeners. Here you want to the here you come to the master of the garden to give your own fragrance. You are flowers, you know, and the Father also knows that the seed of the jungle of thorns is Ravan. In fact, the seed of the whole tree is only one, but there must definitely be someone who changes the garden of flowers into a jungle of thorns. That one is Ravan. So, now judge whether the things that the Father explains are correct. The Father is the seed of the flower garden of deity. You are now becoming deity. Each one of you knows what type of flower you are. The master of the garden comes to look at the flowers here too. All the rest are gardeners. There are many types of gardeners. There are also many varieties of gardeners. Those gardens, that is physical gardens. Some are paid 500 rupees, some 1000 rupees, and some gardeners are paid 1000 rupees. Well, the gardener of the Mughal garden must be very clever. His salary would be very high. This is an unlimited garden, and there are many types of gardener, number wise. The very good gardeners must make their gardens very beautiful. They plant very good flowers. The Mughal garden of government house is very beautiful. This is an unlimited garden. And there is the one master of the garden. The seed of the jungle of thorns is Ravan. The seed of the garden of flowers is Shiv Baba. You receive your inheritance from the Father. You do not receive an inheritance from Ravan. It is as though he curses you. When you are cursed, you all remember the one who bestows happiness on you, because he is the bestower of happiness, the one who gives constant happiness. There are many varieties of the gardener. The master of the garden comes to see his gardeners and to see whether they are making small or big gardens. He also keeps in mind which type of flowers they are. Sometimes very good gardeners come here. The flowers they bring are often a very good decoration. So, the master of the garden becomes pleased. Oh, this gardener is very good. He has brought very good flowers. That is the unlimited Father. And these are his unlimited matters. You children understand in your hearts that what Baba tells you is the absolute truth. For half a cycle, that is the kingdom of Ravan. It is the Ravan who makes the garden of flowers into a jungle of thorns. There is nothing but thorns in this jungle. They cause a great deal of sorrow. There are no thorns mixed in the garden. There is not even a single one. You children know that Ravan makes you body conscious. The biggest thorn of all is body consciousness. Baba also explained last night that the vision of some is lustful and the vision of others semi-lustful. There are some new ones who come and they follow this path very well at first and believe that they will never indulge in lust. and that they will remain pure. At that time, they have distaste similar to the distaste one experiences at a cremation ground. However, when they go back home, they become bad, their vision becomes dirty. You consider many to be very good flowers, bring them here to the master of the garden and say, Baba, this one is a very good flower. Some gardeners come here and whisper in Baba's ear that this one is such and such a flower. A gardener will definitely tell his master of the gardener. A gardener will definitely tell his master of the gardener. It is not that Baba knows the secret of each one's heart. Gardeners tell Baba about each one's behavior. Baba, that one's vision is not good. That one's behavior is not royal. That one's vision has reformed by 10 to 20%. The eyes are the main things that deceive you the most. Two gardeners come and tell the master of the garden everything. Baba asks each of you, tell me, what type of flowers have you brought? Some are roses, some are jasmine, whereas others bring buck flowers. They remain very cautious here, but when they go back into the jungle, they wilt. Baba sees what type of flower one is. Maya is such that she slaps the gardeners very hard, so that even the gardeners become thorns. When the master of the garden comes, he first looks at the garden, then he sits and decorates the flowers. He says, children, remain cautious, continue to remove your weaknesses. Otherwise, you will have to repent a great deal. Baba has come to make you into Lakshmi and Narayan. Why should we become servants instead? Each of you has to check yourself. Am I becoming elevated and worthy? You know that Ravan is the seed of the jungle and that the Rama is the seed of the garden of flowers. The father sits here and explains all of these things to you. Baba still praises the education at schools. That education is also good because you receive a source of income through that, and there is also an aim and objective. This too is a school, and you also have an aim and objective. At no other places do they have an aim or objective. The one aim of changing from an ordinary human into Narayan. On the path of devotion, people listen a great deal to the story of becoming a true Narayan. They invite a Brahmin priest once a month to relate the Gita to them. Nowadays, where they say Baba Singh that they invite Brahman priest. Nowadays, everyone relates the Gita. None of them are true Brahmins. Only you are true Brahmins, children of the true Father. You relate the true story. That is the story of the true Narayan, the story of immortality, and the story of the third eye. God speaks, I make you into kings of kings. Those people have been relating the Gita, but who became a king? Is there anyone who can say that he will make you into the king of kings and that he himself will not become that? Have you ever heard this before? There is only the one Father who sits here and explains this to you children. You children know that you come here to the master of the garden in order to be refreshed. You become gardeners as well as flowers. You definitely have to become gardeners. There are many types of gardeners. If you don't do service, how would you become a good flower? Each one of you should ask your heart what type of flower you are and what type of gardeners you are. You children have to churn the ocean of knowledge. You teachers know that there are various types of gardeners. Some good gardeners whose gardens are very good and big also come here. If a gardener is good, he also creates a very good garden. He brings such good flowers that the heart becomes pleased on seeing. Some even bring cheap flowers. The master of the garden understands what status they will. There is now still some time left. It takes effort to change each thorn into a flower. Some don't even want to change into a flower. They prefer to remain a thorn. Their attitude shown by their eyes remains very dirty. Even when they come here, they have no fragrance in them. The master of the garden prefers to have flowers in front of him. When he sees them, he becomes very pleased. When he sees that someone's attitude is bad, he does not even look at that one. This is why he examines each of you to see what type of flower you are. How much fragrance do you give? Have you changed from a thorn into a flower or not? Each one of you can understand for yourself to what extent you have become a flower and whether you make effort. Some repeatedly say, Baba, I forget you. I cannot stay in yoga. So, how can you become a flower if you don't have remembrance? Remember Baba, and your sins will be cut away. And you will become a flower and will also be able to make others into. Only then would be called a gardener. Baba continues to ask for gardener. Is anyone here a gardener? Why can't you become a gardener? To let go of your bondages. You should have the inner strength and enthusiasm for doing service. You have to make effort to free your wings. Would you leave the person whom you love a great deal? How can you claim a high status and just you become a flower and do the Father's service of making others into flowers? The high status you claim is for 20 births. There are emperors, kings, and even very wealthy subjects. Then, number wise, there are less wealthy ones and subjects. Now, what should you become? Whatever comes from the efforts you make now, you will become that every cycle. You now have to make effort with full force. You have to become Narayan from an ordinary human. Those who are good effort makers will put everything in practice. You have to check your profit and loss account every day. It is not a matter of doing this every 12 months. You have to check your profit and loss accounts every day. You must not make a loss, otherwise, you will become third class. Schools, too, all are number wise. You are very sweet children. Know that the seed is the lord of the tree, that when he comes, we experience the omens of Jupiter. Then, when the kingdom of Ravan comes, we experience the omens of Rahu. One is the highest and the other is lowest. The temple of Shiva completely changes into a brothel. There are now the omens of Jupiter over you children. First, the tree is new, and then, after half its lifespan, it begins to get old. There is the master of the garden, and the number of gardeners also increase. You bring them to the master of the garden. Every gardener brings flowers. Some bring such good flowers that they are desperate to come to. Some daughters find clever ways to come. Baba says you have brought very good flowers. The gardener is second class and flowers are better than the gardener. They are desperate to come to Shiv Baba, the one who makes them into the elevated masters of the world. Even if they are beaten at home, they ask Shiv Baba to protect them. They are called true Draupadis. Whatever happened in the past has to repeat. Yesterday you were calling out, and today Baba has come and is showing you ways in which you can protect yourself. Buzz the knowledge in this way. You are the buzzing moths and they are the insects. Continue to buzz this knowledge to them. Tell them that God says lust is your greatest enemy. By conquering it, you become the masters of the world. Sometimes the words of innocent ones strike them so that they cool down and say, Okay. You have permission to go. You may go to the one who makes you into such deities. It is not in my fortune, but you may go. The Draupadis call out in this way. Baba writes to them, gives this knowledge to them. However, some women are such that Surpanakha and Pooja, that is, female devils, the men gives this knowledge to them and they become like insects. They cannot stay without wives. Many different types come to the master of the garden. Don't even ask. Even some Kumaris become thorns. This is why Baba says, tell me about your horoscope. It is the actions you have performed from birth. If you hide it and do not tell the father, it will increase. You must not lie. Your attitude will continue to be spoiled. However, you will be saved by telling the father. You should tell the truth. Otherwise, you will become severely diseased. The father says, the faces of these who indulge in vice are ugly. To become impure means to make your face dirty. Sri Krishna is called the ugly and the beautiful one. They portray Sri Krishna with a dark blue complexion. They have even portrayed Rama as blue. They do not understand the meaning at all. They have a beautiful picture of Narayan with a fair complexion. That is your aim and objective. Don't want to become the dark blue Narayan. Narayan is not like the one shown in the temple. By indulging in vice, their faces become ugly. It is souls that become. You have to go from the iron age to the golden age. You have to become golden sparrows. Goddess Kali is remembered as Kali of Calcutta. They have shown such a fearsome fear of form of they have shown such a fearsome form of her. Don't even ask. The father says, children, all of that belongs to the path of devotion. You have now received this knowledge. The sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children do say namaste to the spiritual father. Vardhana number one. Make effort to free your wings. Liberate yourself from the bondage and become a clever gardener. Do the service of changing thorns into flowers. Second, check yourself and see to what extent you have become a great, what extent you have become a fragrant. Is your attitude pure? Do your eyes deceive you? Keep a chart of your behavior and remove your defects. Think you be an easy and constant yogi who is constantly powerful with the intoxication and faith of having a right to self sovereignty. Explanation. To be a self sovereign means to have total control over all your physical senses, so that your physical senses do not deceive you even in your thoughts. If you sometimes have the slightest body consciousness, you then use force or anger. But those who are self sovereigns, masters of themselves, are constantly egoless and they constantly serve with humility. Therefore, be powerful with the intoxication. Therefore, be powerful with the intoxication and faith of being a master of yourself, a self sovereign. You will then easily be an easy and constant yogi and become a conqueror of Maya and a conqueror of the world. Slogan. Be a lighthouse and remain busy in spreading light with your mind and intellect, and you will not be afraid of anything. Cha Om Shanti.